All right, I'm back. We took all the tins out of the seat. If you didn't see if I didn't post you the first clip, I bent this tube back. I kind of regret putting that dent in there, but he had this thing bent. I mean, you look at the other videos, man. It was a nice V in here, and that's not how it was made. This thing was straight. He's also bent the daylights out of this, moving this over, and then somebody put that big sissy bar thing on there that we've already cut off. So, yeah, this bad boy needs some help. As you can see, the frame is cracked here, and inside that crack is rust. So that isn't something I just did, moving this here. That's been like that for a while. I took all this stuff out. I took all the floor pan fasteners off because I'm going to cut the floor tray. As you can see, that where that red line is there, at the edge of the perimeter of the frame. That's legal for vintage. Why am I doing it before gratting? Because this stuff hanging out here could easily catch air, start dragging on the ground. God only knows. It doesn't belong there. I'm just going to cut it off. So what I'm going to do is take a couple of these stools and put them underneath the tires and jack the front end up and get it up off the stand, and then I can just pull the aluminum out. I've already taken the angled bits off. These are in really bad shape too. We're not going to use these again anyway, but he just rigged these things up. Must have tore this cart apart after it sat for 12 years. Wire wheeled the daylights out of everything. These included. Patched little repair panels in here, right, to put them back on and use them instead of just making new ones. This thing was completely rigged. The paint job on it is look at the fisheye in there where it's spraying right over top of oil is what you're doing. That's what the issue is. That's not textured paint. Those are fisheye is what we call that. This thing was listed as restored, which is a little disheartening. Yeah, I only paid $500 for it, and they wanted $800 or $900 for it at first. I think they knew they weren't going to get anywhere near that kind of money. I think they expected to get about $500 for it. And it's sight unseen. Looking at pictures, that's you get what you got, right? That's what you get. So we'll doctor this stuff up, and I'll go ahead and clean the paint off of there and just throw a couple of spots of weld on there just to make sure it's not going to bust off. All these twig tubing. Look, I mean, literally, look at how short it literally came up of making the grade, and they just welded it in. So these are not stock standard. Those are probably put in after they bent the daylights out of this thing. There was another one of these stick figure pieces across here, and that had to get cut out. I don't know how that didn't beat the hell out of the guy's leg. So yeah, we're finding all kinds of things wrong, not just historically OEM wrong, just dead wrong altogether. It looks like this may very well not be sitting down flat flush either. It was hard to tell with it bolted up whether it's flat. We'll put a straight edge across the bottom of the chassis and see if it's not, but it sure looks like that doesn't sit right down flat. Maybe it's not supposed to, right? Originally these things didn't have any floor tray to them. It was just the seat tin, so maybe they didn't want your keister sitting down below or at the same level, I should say, as the the bottom of the chassis itself. So I'm already thinking when I put this thing back together, when I get the seat the way I want it to fit my ribs and my butt. I mean, the butt's fine. The ribs were a little tight. That's why we went ahead and moved that. I'll probably make this the back, the bottom, and each side one great big piece. And, it doesn't need to roll in through here like this. And we'll probably pop rivet that in. We're not so much into here like it is on a Hartman, but at least into this heavier stuff, into the pan tabs. And that way it isn't something that's going to be coming on and off anyway. So, yeah, it'll add a little stiffness and a little strength to the seat as well. I'm still kind of looking forward to driving this thing. My Emic had a fiberglass seat, it was not nearly as offset as this thing here, man. This is really, really offset. I don't think the Emmets were built this way, the American Emmets. If they sent one over there to England to be copied that was this far offset, that would really surprise me. But it is what it is. We don't have an Emmet. This is a zip cart, so we're going to try to keep it as historically accurate as we can. I mentioned on YouTube on Facebook this morning. Now I'll probably end up cutting that nut bar loose, not before gratting, and moving it more to the center of the seat because it's just super duper uncomfortable right now. Laying like this, where your head is here, and you see where the pedals are at. Your right leg reaches the pedal before the left leg does because you're so far offset. Well, arms are the same way. If you get the steering wheel close enough to you to be comfortable with your left arm, your right arm's going to be bent quite a bit. So I would like to see that a little more centered up. On our carts, this one here, the dragster with the engine in the back is dead center like this. But all the rest of our carts, if the engine's on the right, it's offset a little bit to the left because the seat's going to be offset a little bit. And that nut bar is also offset a little bit. So we're finding more things that we don't like. I'm sure we're not done yet. We'll find more, especially once we tear this thing completely down. We already know that these spindles are bunk. I mean, they look pretty spooky. Actually, this one actually broke. The yoke split right in two, right under the stub axle. And you can see where they just booger welded the crap out of it. Is it going to stop me from turning a few laps in it? No, probably not. No. Mm-mm. We may not run the guts out of this cart all day long up there. But our intent and purpose is to get the Briggsy shook down and let Richard run it a bunch and Kenny run it a bunch and Randy McDaniel wants to run it. He wants to take a ride in. He's never been in a lay down. He wants to take it for a ride. We have Jack, Wayne Rumsey's buddy, younger guy. I call him a kid because anybody that's in their 20s and 30s is a kid to me. He's getting his first taste of road race lay down karting, and Wayne wanted to know if he could take the four-banger for a ride before he puts him in his Yamaha cart, his lay down cart. So we got a lot planned for. If it's just a one-day gig, then it's a one-day gig. But we got a lot going on. Just want to really just get some just run this thing. Make sure the motor runs, the fuel tanks don't leak, the brakes work, it turns right and left. Even if it doesn't do any of that properly, just so long as it does it, it'll give us a base to work from. It'll get, we need to know what the thing's going to do before we strip it all down and then put it back together and find out that it was all wrong to begin with, I should say. So getting a ride in it is at least going to tell us, what its characteristics are. And we'll know as we're stripping it down what we need to cut and grind and weld on, what we need to add on to, like the nut bar and what we got to move. And we can go from there. So I'm not ruling out adding the sway bar or the stiffener back in here, but not the way they did it here. I saw the picture of that Emmet sprint cart with the B-bomb on it from Pittsburgh, the guy that I gave the crank start to for practice. And he's got a torsion bar, but it comes down. It ties in here or here, somewhere here, probably here, because it's got to come through here. And it was regular frame rail size stuff, right? So a 90, and his was all one piece. Would be nice to be able to put some kind of removable bar or adjustable bar, like a sprint cart or the rear end of any modern cart does. Like our Emmet here has got the removable tube that's pinched, so you can turn it from flat to straight up and down or on an angle. It's like a tuning device. We might even be able to do it across here and do the same thing. I don't know. We'll have to talk to Ed. Ed's the chassis guy. He's our guy down there in Atlanta, and he's going to be the one that's going to know, none of it is the correct way to do it. The correct way to do it is to fill the tube with sleeve before you bend it. That's the proper way to stiffen your chassis. Sleeve in here before you bend any of these tubes. dad builds dirt carts, okay? He knows his business. So hang in there, guys. I know it looks like we're tearing it down, but we got to tear it down before we can get it together. So that's it. I'm done here. I'm going to head over to Rich's and cut some aluminum. God bless you all. Hang in there.